You guys ready to get rich? This video is gonna make you rich. So click like right now, pay it forward. If you click like right now, it's going to build your karma to a point where everything I say in this video is actually going to sink in. And it's going to make you rich if you click like. Now that we got that out of the way out of the beginning of the video, I'm gonna tell you why we just hit bottom for all stocks and all crypto. Which means everything's going to start going back up except the US dollar. And I'm going to show you why we hit top for US dollar as well. So if you're trading Forex, if you're trading stocks, if you're trading crypto, this video explains everything. It's the big picture. And everything in this video, you're going to want to remember or take notes on this video because everything in this video holds true for every single massive dump. For every single massive bear market, this video is just a repeat. Bear markets happen so rarely. They only happen 3, 4, 5 years. So you tend to forget what happened the last 3, 4, 5 years. Can you even remember what your relationship was like with your soulmate 3, 4, 5 years ago? It's even hard to do that. How hard is it to remember something that's just all numbers and facts and bank accounts and stuff? It's almost impossible. So figure out a way to remember this stuff that I'm going to tell you in this video. And the easiest way to do that is to click like. I'm not kidding you. This psychologically, subconsciously, subliminally, paying it forward does something to your memory centers so that you can actually remember stuff. And the way to do that is to click like. It's just going to benefit you the rest of your life. Okay. Why did we just hit bottom? How do we know that we just hit bottom? How do we know that we just hit bottom for stocks, for crypto, and we hit top for the US dollar? Which, if you don't know, stocks are where the US dollar goes, right? You use the US dollar to buy stocks. Well, what about the Chinese? Yeah, even the Chinese. The Chinese people have to convert their RMB, their yuan, to US dollars to buy American stocks. So everything has to go through the US dollar in order for the stock market to pump. In fact, it's almost true for Bitcoin because most of the Bitcoin volume comes from America. So if you're Chinese and you want to buy Bitcoin, you also have to start converting to USDT, which is pegged to the dollar. You see how that works? Now, here's the part that most of you don't know. If the US dollar goes up, stocks go down. If the stocks go up, then US dollar goes down. Same with Bitcoin. If the Bitcoin goes up, US dollar goes down. If the US dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down. Why does that work? How does that work? If you don't know how that happens, I'll give you a super, super tight summary. It's because if you're trading one thing for another, the thing that you're giving away, it becomes worth less. So if you're trading the US dollar for stocks, stock value goes up, but the US dollar value goes down. You see how that works? So basically, think of it this way. You're throwing away the US dollar so that you can have more stocks. So you throw away stuff, you throw something in the waste bin or the rubbish and it becomes worth less. That's just basic. So that's why the US dollar is going to go down and stocks are going to go right back up. And that's why stocks are going to go up, forcing the US dollar to go back down because people are going to start throwing away their US dollars to buy more stocks and crypto. Now, having said all that, the most explosive thing, I've talked about Palantir before. Everyone loves Tesla. Forget Palantir and Tesla. Let's forget them both. Yeah, Palantir is going to do about 100x to 500x over the next 10 years. And you're telling me to forget Palantir? Yeah, because if you can get 10,000x, 50,000 to x your money in the next 3 years, why wait for 1,000 or 500x in the next 10 years? Makes sense, right? You want to make more money in a shorter period of time. That's Truebit. That's Truebit. So, in fact, before I go even further into why we just hit bottom and to make you feel better about all your investments, to make you change your mind about selling now, I'm going to tell you just buy more Truebit right now. Pause this video, buy more Truebit right now, because somebody else saw this video before you did, and they're buying Truebit right now. So by the time you're done with this video, which is going to last another, 30 minutes or so, Truebit price is already going to have doubled. And so just buy it now, okay? Get ahead of the curve. Okay, let's start jumping into why we hit the bottom. I guess I'm going to give you the big picture game theory. Before I do that, I'm going to give you a little table of contents. We're going to go through when VCs pump altcoins, when venture capital, how and when venture capital people pump altcoins that you never heard of until it's already 100x late, like Solana. You heard of Solana when it's already 100x above opening price, or ICO, or ICO, launch price. You heard of Kusama or DOT after it hit 100x after launch price. You heard of, what else, Shiba, after it hit 500x from launch. So by the time you hear about a coin, it's already gone up 100x. And sure, it might go up another 3x or 4x, giving the early buyers 300x or 400x profit, but you're only going to get 3x profit. They get 300x, you get 3x. That's when you hear about it, after everybody else has already made their 100x profit. So, when is that? How do I know when VCs are going to start that pump? And how do I know which coin they're going to use to pump? First of all, no, end of all, it's Truebit. And I'm going to explain to you why in this video. And I'm going to show you the charts for SHIB, for Kusama, and Solana. I mean, I could show you the chart for Dogecoin. I could show you the chart for Cardano, ADA. They're all exactly the same. They look exactly the same. And every single time VCs massively pump coins, 100x, 500x, 1000x, it all looks like right now for Truebit. I mean, there's really, I'm going to show you the charts anyway. Next on the table of contents, I'm going to talk to you about Soros and how he shorts the market and how he strategically forces the market to short, because this particular stock market reset, this particular dump was not, oh, it's just overvalued. I guess prices had to go down. This is engineered. This is manufactured. This is forced to dump the way it dumped. Then it's got Soros' signature all over it, and it's got Ukraine involved. And I'm going to show you how Soros thinks. And I'm going to show you why Soros is closing his shorts right now. And then I'm going to show you the Bitcoin TA. I'm going to show you, I guess, okay, so that's the end of the table of contents. Let's get into the meat of things. I was the guy, if you remember, back in 2017. I told everybody, hey, so CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and the Wall Street, they're going to open Bitcoin futures. That is bearish. I told everyone, whenever Wall Street starts putting their hands in something that's already gone up 20,000x, that's 2 million%, by the way, from the beginning, in less than 10 years. If something's already gone up 2 million% in less than 10 years, and Wall Street figures out some way to get their hands on something that can leverage it, they're going to leverage it back the other way. I told everyone, hey, it's been 5 years now. Dump Bitcoin at $20,000. Just dump it, dump it, dump it, dump it, dump it. Actually, I said it at $18,000, and then it went up to $20,000, and everyone laughed at me like, ha ha, have fun staying poor. Actually, I think that was before Paris Hilton even said that, so nobody actually told me to have fun staying poor. But I got a bunch of hate, and then what ended up happening? $20,000, not more than 10% above my sell price. Bitcoin just crashed and crashed and crashed. And then I told you to buy Bitcoin at $3,000. Everyone said, no, Bitcoin's going to go back down to $1,000 or $600 or $300 for Bitcoin. It's $3,000 was the bottom for Bitcoin. Now I'm going to tell you now that Bitcoin's at the bottom again because, and I told you this would be the meat, drum roll, this week they're coming out with Bitcoin futures ETF shorts. Ba-bam! It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. Wall Street comes up with a way to put their claws into an asset that's gone up using futures so that people can bet long. That gives them a whole bunch of people to bet against. Because if you open shorts for Bitcoin this week, everyone's going to say, hey, I can make more money. I can make leveraged shorts on Bitcoin. Woohoo! So if Bitcoin falls another 30% and I got a 3x leverage, I make double my money. Woohoo! So everybody goes in and shorts Bitcoin on the public markets using an ETF, using their pension fund. Everyone's going to think, oh, my school pension fund or my police officer, fireman's pension fund lost 20%. I'm going to make my 20% back by shorting. Oh, but wait, I can't use pension fund money in Binance or Huobi to short, right? They can't. It's illegal. You can't just pull out chunks of your police pension fund or your fireman's pension fund and put it in BitMEX. You just cannot do that. So the only way these people can short Bitcoin is if they have a Wall Street SEC approved, government approved method of shorting. And when they do, guess what? Wall Street's going to say, all the smartest guys are going to say, push the green button, Chad. Click. Bam, it's going to go right back up. And that's happening this week. Now, you glad you started watching this video and didn't turn off? And you glad you pushed that like button? Or is it down here now? Or is it down here? Anyway, the like button's down here or the other place. So that's only part one of all the goodies I'm going to give you in this video. So that's how we know we're at bottom for Bitcoin and for stocks. Now, here's... Let's go to the next point. That first point just proves that we're going to go right back up in Bitcoin. How do we know we're going to go right back up with stocks, though? What's important to note is how we went down. Every single time something goes down or up, maybe it went up, and there's always some kind of mechanical reason. And that mechanical reason, that actual physical fundamental reason something goes up or down, clearly has some kind of lifespan. For instance, when the COVID thing broke out, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, and stocks dumped to all hell, right? What was the mechanism by which everything literally dumped? Well, the mechanism was lockdowns. You lock people down and suddenly everything dumps, except guess what? Well, everyone's locked down. They can't go outside, but guess what they can do? Internet. They can use the internet. So all these internet stocks started going up and all this crypto started going up. You see how that works? You just have to understand the simple mechanics. It's really, really simple mechanics. Okay, so COVID caused this crash, that last crash 2 years ago. How did this recent crash start? What happened there? Wouldn't you like to know? Because if you figure out what caused this most recent, and it's not COVID, what caused this most recent stock market crash, then you're going to see how easy it will be for the, you can call them lizard people, you can call them, I don't know, the Rothschilds, you can call them whoever, whatever you want to call the overlords, you can call them whatever you want. But you'll be able to see how easy it will be for them to turn the spigot right back on and pump everything right back up after they've bought up all the bottoms again. Making it so that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer once again. For COVID, all they had to do is end the fucking lockdowns. Oh, you can go out again. Okay, so the economy recovers. Stocks started to recover before that because the internet stocks that everyone was jumping on started to go up first. It's really that simple. All you have to do is change a couple laws in this country and that country, and bam, stocks go up. Now, what do you have to do to make stocks and crypto go back up this time? Since we just had this massive, crazy dump for the last 9 weeks in Bitcoin, for the last couple weeks in stocks, all you have to know is what caused the dump in the first place. And I'll tell you. For people to start buying stuff, when you buy stuff, the prices of the stocks of the companies that you bought from go up, right? Because you bought a bunch of ketchup, so the ketchup company gets rich, and so the ketchup company shareholders get rich too, based on the stock of the ketchup company going up. Really, really simple. But what if the ketchup company can't buy its vinegar? What if the ketchup company can't buy its tomatoes? Then they can't sell anything, then they lose money, then the stocks go down. It's really that simple. What if a automotive manufacturer can't build cars because it can't get parts? What do you mean parts? Don't automotive manufacturers manufacture automobiles and they can't get parts? Why don't they just manufacture the parts? What you don't realize is that most cars, about 80% of the parts that go in a car are not manufactured by that manufacturer. You think, well, Tesla might be an exception. Tesla, I think, has a really high manufacture rate. But other car companies like, I don't know, Ford, Tesla, BMW, about 70-80% of their parts come from other manufacturers. You think BMW and Mercedes manufactures their seats? You think they manufacture the brakes? Why do you think the brakes are called Brembo brakes? Why do you think the wheels are called BBS wheels? Why do you think the airbags are called Takata airbags? Because the manufacturer of that car doesn't manufacture the parts in the car. Got that? Now that we know that much, guess what two countries manufacture, what two places in the world manufacture the most parts for most of everything? Everything. You guys with 120 IQ are like, no, it can't be that simple. It is that simple. It is that simple. China and, yeah, the Ukraine. The Ukraine. Wait a second. Wait a second. China just locked down, not all of China, but they just locked down all of Shanghai. So let me guess, are you going to tell me that Shanghai is the #1 manufacturing hub for all of China? Why, yes. Guess what the #1 manufacturing hub of all of China is? It's Shanghai. You just got Shanghaied. Wait. Are you telling me that of all the manufacturers in Europe, the Ukraine manufactures the most of a critical component that just absolutely stopped the entire world's economy? That can't be. Doesn't Germany have one of the highest manufacturing exports in the world? And what about Sweden? They IKEA. You want to see? You want me to show you Ukraine? You want me to show you the Ukraine? I'm going to show you the Ukraine. This is the Harvard Business Review. Harvard. This is the URL. You can find it on your own. And I'm going to read this to you. Equally important, the Ukraine supplies about 50% of the world's neon gas, which is used to produce what? 50% of the world's neon gas, let alone all this other stuff that the Ukraine produces, which is used to produce semiconductor what? 50% of the world's neon. What doesn't have a semiconductor? Your toaster, your actual freaking toaster has a semiconductor chip in it. You know, I was going to show you this. I just don't think we have time to talk about this. So I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to talk to you about this. George Soros, I am going to touch on this a little bit, how Soros actually shorted, but it's basically the same plan. Literally, every 10 years or 20 years, Soros goes on, actually it's been about 30 years now, Soros goes on some massive shorting thing and uses the same game plan. And guess what? The Ukraine. The Ukraine. The Ukraine. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, whoa is the right word. What that means is, all the Ukraine has to do, all Soros has to do, is say, hey, Zelensky, hey, nephew. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, come on. The nose is the same, the jaw's the same, the eyes are the same, the hairline is the same. You should Google George Soros 1970. Just Google George Soros 1970. The 1970s version of George Soros looks just like Zelensky right now. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, okay? Anyway, all they have to do to pump the stocks right back up is just say, Zelensky and Putin they've just agreed on peace. Oh, and China has to say at the same time, we just stopped the lockdowns on Shanghai. And guess what they did? This week, China has announced that they're going to start easing the restrictions on the lockdowns in Shanghai this week. So, are you starting to see how easy it is to manipulate the markets? All you have to do is instate your cousin or your nephew as a president, close down one key nation, just one tiny little nation that nobody even heard of, nobody ever cared about, that happens to produce half of the world's semiconductor chips, or happens to control the production of about half of the world's semiconductor chips. And that's only the beginning. That conflict, what that conflict caused with Russia producing fertilizer for the whole world, Russia producing crops and grains for the whole world, all that's going to end. Crops and grains galore, baby milk, baby formula galore. Everything's just going to cornucopia and go all the way back up on the supply shelves as soon as Zelensky stops fucking up the middle class and the world's wealth. It's that simple. I will say this as a note, but Zelensky didn't do it. Russia invaded. Even the Pope, come on, even the Pope knows that Zelensky caused Russia to attack them. It's like, hey, we have an agreement. You're not supposed to punch me in the face. But then it's like, you knee him in the balls, or you literally step on his, you kick him in the ankle, and then he punches you in the face and say, hey, you broke my agreement. Which is exactly the same thing the Lusitania, wasn't it the Lusitania in World War I or something, where Woodrow Wilson said, we will not enter into this European war. Americans will not enter into this European war unless they attack American soil. And everyone's like, yay, we're staying out of this European war. And then Woodrow Wilson goes and sends the Lusitania, a warship, into, was it Russian waters or German waters or something like that? He actually sends it into into enemy waters, and they get attacked. And they're like, oh, see that? We got attacked. Now we're going to jump in the war. It's exactly the same thing. Politicians do that all day long. They want an outcome, and they're willing to do anything. And then they're going to convince you that, hey, I'm the victim. Send me $20 billion to send me more baby formula, which is where all America's baby formula went, by the way. It went to the Ukraine. Okay, now that you know all that. What's next? Let me look at my notes. Next, I'm going to show you, using charts, using TA, why the stock market is at the bottom right now. Except, before I do that, here's the big theme for this particular video, which I should have told you in the beginning, but in the beginning I wanted you to click like. So the beginning of this video is, what I should have told you about was the theme of this video, which is, kill the men, keep the women. Kill the men, keep the women. That's a rough translation of a Viking saying. Whenever the Vikings went and started taking over neighboring nations and islands and started attacking everybody. I don't even remember what the original expression was, but it's kill the men, keep the women, is what they're saying. when Vikings went, and this relates to Soros, and this relates to all the lizard people or the Rothschilds or whatever you want to call them that actually caused this dump. This is how they think. Okay, this is exactly how they think, and it comes straight from the Viking mentality. You can call it a warlord mentality, whatever you want, but this is how it works. The Vikings go and attack a nation or an island. They go and jump in and, oh my God, look at all this land. Oh my God, the women look different. That's really hot. Okay, let's take it all. Oh, except if we take it all, then eventually while we sleep, the men are going to kill us. So let's just kill the men. So we take everything except the men. Yeah, but then there are babies, and babies that are boys are going to be told by their moms about the story of how we killed their actual dad, and then when we're 60 and 70, well, when we're 40 or 50 years old, the baby's going to be 20 years old, and he's going to kill me 20 years later. So all the baby boys also have to die, is what the Vikings did. So men, all the way down to babies, were all killed, and they only kept the women alive. Because otherwise what would end up happening is they would have all this new land, but they wouldn't have enough labor force to be able to farm the land, right? I mean, you have all this new cattle, you have all these sheep. I mean, who's going to actually shear the sheep? So what you want to do is keep the women and the daughters. The old women are kind of useless, so you can kill most of the old women too. And then I really hope YouTube doesn't ban this video, because I'm talking about history, okay? This is just history. I'm not talking about, like... Anyway, so what they did was, well, what about the women? Won't the women kill us in our sleep, or snip things off in our sleep because we raped them after we killed their husbands? No. How do we prevent that from happening? Well, we just impregnate them with a bunch of babies that they can't raise on their own, that they love. And so what ends up happening is, even though they hate us, they can't kill us because they need us, because we help them raise their babies that they love. And besides, they kind of like having sex with us anyway. We're big Swedish guys. Yeah, they still resent us for killing their first love, but still, women get used to it. It's how they think. It's how they thought. Okay? That's exactly the same way that Soros and all the Rothschilds think. The reason why I'm telling you this is because they don't want to kill. They invaded crypto. Okay? All the rich people, all the mega whales invaded crypto. They invaded the stock market. They're not here to kill the stock market. They're not here to kill crypto. What they're here to do is kill you. That's all they want to do, is get you out of the picture so that they can just monopolize and buy everything back, while there's still something to salvage. Just like this, just like the Vikings, as long as they had women left, they could use the women to make more babies that would till the farms and milk the cows and shear the sheep. As long as they had women left. And right now, at this point, the only thing we have left in stocks and crypto are hot chicks. You want me to show you? I'll show you. And I don't mean literal hot chicks. I mean the financial institutional equivalent of a hot chick. I'm going to show you using the charts. Okay, so here's the stock market. Stocks go up and then they go down. They go up and then they go down. What's important is how much they go down after they go up. Let's measure that. All right, historically, what we're doing is measuring bottom to top, back down to retrace. Okay, so from here to here, this is the top. This is pretty clear for this top range, and then retrace back down to here, right? Up a lot and then down a little. What are the numbers? Let's see, 32% to the retrace point, and then down just about 20%. See this 20% thing, 19%? is how far we came down from the top. You want to do this again? Let's do it again. Here's a bottom, right? You see this bottom is exactly, just about exactly the top of the last cycle. So we're going to negate everything. Since we already went to the top, we're going to say, okay, this is done. We're not going to calculate this anymore. We're going to start from here because this is where the new bottom of the last top was. We go all the way back up. If this is clearly the top, this is clearly the bottom before we start another cycle going up, right? So let's look at this. What? Looks remarkably familiar. 34 and what? 19%. 19%. 19%. Really? Wasn't this one just the same? No, can't be. 19%. 19%. No, that's got to just be a coincidence, right? That's just got to be a. Oh, here, I'll do it this way. That's just got to be a coincidence, right? Let's do it again. Okay, starting at the previous top as the new bottom, we have, wow, 30%. That's even more than 19%. Yeah, that is more. But, you want to see what happens from a big picture perspective? There's only about 25% of the total. So we zoom out to the weekly and see that on the macro, we are only down about 25% from the top. Right here. Why is this significant? Because we're just about at support. These things, when there are major catastrophic dumps, they only dump about 20-some% of the total. If it's a micro trend or if it's a macro trend. 20-25% max. Look at this trend line. All we're doing is touching back on the larger trend. You see that? The trend has been straight up and it will continue to be straight up, except for the fact that poor people, the middle class, will sell here and then buy here. They will sell here from fear and then buy here on exuberation, and then bam. Poor people will buy here and sell here. Rich people will sell here and buy here. Sell here and buy here. All this is, while stocks keep going up, while stocks have gone up in value, about 400% over the last, 10 years or so? 400%, wow. It's not bad, 500% over the last 10 years or so. The average middle-class homeowner did not get 5 houses. They did not buy 10.9 cars. They didn't get 5 times richer. But the rich people did, because they kept buying these monumental dumps. What I'm trying to tell you is, well, let me draw some more lines. All right, look at the red line, for example. Red line, this is just a median trend, and we wicked right underneath that. You see that? The last time, the second to the last time we had a dump, we had a beautiful wick right underneath this trend line. And that's what these things do. They retrace about 20% the previous climb. And then if it tends to oversell, it wicks, because the rich people are like, yes, every time we come close to this or go over this line, buy, 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 is how rich people work. What about the COVID? What about the COVID dump? Let's track that one. Bam, using a thick blue line. Trend line, trend line, trend, 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 trend. Bam, we wicked right underneath it. You go underneath that line and we wick and go straight back up with a vengeance. You either come close to a line or go under a line and it wicks right back. You want to see the last? Look at this one. This one didn't even touch the blue line. This one went right back up on a tear, on a skyrocket as it approached this blue line, which is what we're going to do here. As we're approaching these two green lines, we're going to start bouncing up and just skyrocket. Again, when have we not bounced and skyrocketed? When have we not had a V-shaped reversal? When have we not, in the last, since the year 2000 something, 2007, since for the last 15, 20 years, when have we not had a V-shaped bottom that just went BAM and made you regret you sold near the bottom? bam, it made you, bam, it made you, bam, and bam, and bam, and bam. Look at all these needle points. Look at all these acupuncture needles. When have we not had a V-shaped? No, but this time it's different. This time, what we're gonna do is we're going to go like this. We're going to dump and then just go flat line. And maybe dump again and then flat. No, dude, seriously. Every single time we've just done this and then this. Look at it. Let me show you another way. Every single temporary top we've had a broadening wedge. Weird, isn't it? Look at this. This is a rising broadening wedge with a fake out bear trap dump. That was the bottom. Bam. Broadening rising wedge with a fake out bear trap dump, and then bam. With a broadening wedge but this one was front run. You see how that works? This one didn't even touch the line. Normally these things go under the blue line. Under, but over. We don't repeat the same thing 3 times in a row because everyone expects it. Everyone expected this thing to dump under here, just like it did here. The rich guys are smarter than that. So they won't let the same thing happen again, okay? Now, if they won't let the same thing happen again, what ends up happening? This has to go under. And it went under twice. That's about it. That's literally about it. How can I be so sure that it won't go down much farther and ruin everyone's life forever? Because we've already gone under the ascending resistance line, which is actually the support. We've already dipped under support twice. So the only thing left to do is go green and go up. I'm going to leave this for you here for a second so you can screen capture this. This should help. This down here at 3633 is where all the men and all the male babies have been slaughtered. And this is where all the young women in their teens and 20s that are left are getting re-impregnated with Viking DNA. Is that the only way you know? How do you, I don't know, like that doesn't make much sense to me. I'll show you another way. This one I wasn't going to show you because it includes, it's one of our proprietary algorithms, but I mean, if you've come this far in this video, you've earned this one. Here it is. This is the US dollar. Remember I told you that if the US dollar goes down, stocks go up, and if stocks go up, US dollar goes down, and if US dollar goes up, then stocks go down. Notice this. The US dollar went up parabolically. This was a parabola. What does that mean? Spaced it out for you. Since this is a parabola, it just follows the definition of a parabola. And that is that the moment price goes beyond the support of a parabola, which it did right here, what ends up happening is that it retests and becomes a channel. What? Well, it becomes a channel and then retests. I'll show you. Just added a blue line. Holy shit, you gotta be kidding me. If you have 130 IQ, you just noticed that we had a double rejection wick above the blue line. See that? One is green and one is red. Hope you can see that. Double rejection right above the blue line. That means that we ain't ever, well, at least not anytime soon, going back up past that blue line. Not only does that mean that, it also means that following the rule of the parabolas retrace back down 78.6%. So that would put the US dollar target in the next couple months right back down to 94 cents, which I'm sure Soros at this point is buying stocks and he's shorting the dollar because that's what he does. He convinces other investors to attack the large scale like national currencies, dollars, pound. Man, he made 10 billion pounds, which is worth $20 billion. Oh no, actually, that's not how much. Is that how much he made, or is that how much? Anyway, I'm not going to read that. This is what's going to happen next. We just got rejection. And here's your channel in white. See that? We had a tiny little bearish rejection down here at the channel, and we had two major bullish rejections at the top of the channel. Not making this up. You test the bottom and then you test the top, and by the time you've tested it twice, it just goes down the other way. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? You know, I'm probably just going to delete this video. You know too much. Now you're going to become too powerful. Anyway, hey, if you use this information, let's seriously, if you find things like this, if you spot these, tell me about it, because I'm not going to catch all of these things. I'm telling you what the rules are, but I'm not going to find every single instance of these channels and parabolas turning into channels that become bearish back down here. If you find one, let's win-win. Huh? Send me your charts. You make me money, I make you even more money. Partnership, teamwork. So basically the US dollar is going to dump, causing stocks to pump and crypto to pump right back up with it. Again, I'm showing you through the charts. I guess I could show you through the Bitcoin chart as well, why we just hit bottom on Bitcoin. I'll do that right now. Okay, Bitcoin hit $18,000 and I told everyone to long at $18,000. We're right about $19,000 right now. This is how you calculate target. I told everybody to sell Bitcoin right here. I told everyone to sell a lot here. I didn't tell anyone to sell here, but I said, hey, you'd better sell a lot here. And then again, it went up a little higher and everyone laughed, but then now no one's laughing. And then I told everyone, second warning, sell everything right here. OTC_Bitcoin is my Twitter. Go to OTC_Bitcoin and you can see where I told everyone to sell here and here. Okay, then I guess I'll show you why this is final target. Here, look. Whenever you have three perfectly enclosed spaces, which with precise, absolutely precise touches, without any wicks or anything, which is why I keep bitching at people who cut off wicks. Three precisely, perfectly high pressure enclosed spaces, you will cross that line. You're going to break through that pressure cooker top, the pressure cooker lid. You're going to break through and go across the other side, but by how much? By this much. Well, how do you know that? I'll show you. All right, here's the rule. If you have three perfectly enclosed spaces with no wicks cut off, then you either bust through the pressure cooker lid by the height of the smallest, the second smallest, or the largest of these triangles. So if it was this much, it would be this much. If it's this much, then it would be this much. But we're not at either, are we? But the problem is, with this particular formation, this is not a head and shoulders, nor is it a perfectly descending triangle. In other words, if this was a head and shoulders, this shoulder should at least be 50% the height of the head, closer to the 618. It should be about 60-70%. And this, if this is also a shoulder, should be about the same. This should have about 50 to 60-70% the height of the head, but this is bigger than that and this is smaller than that. What that means is that we're not going to get a complete head and shoulders dump. We're just not going to get a complete head and shoulders dump. So how do you measure it? Well, what you do is you take about this, which is the preemie, and you say, well, what about this plus about this much distance from here? You take that away from the top and you take this from the bottom, and I guess I'll show it to you here. Look. So I drew a line, and I'm going to draw another line in a channel formation, because this is what the channel was. So you take these two and you put them together, and where is that? Oh shit. Where is? Okay, here it is. Here, look. This is about the length you get when you take both. Okay, so I'm going to draw a third one about that length. I'm drawing a third one about that length. I've got the third one. Then what you do is you take it to the neckline and show you how low you go. If you take it to the neckline, can you follow this? Right about there. We're right about here. We're right about at target. Isn't that amazing how that works? But this is true for everything. This is true for literally anything. You could do that with this. You could do that. You can't see that here. Look. I guess this is like a little mini T lesson combined. Here, look. Take this. This one, again, the head is too small. So what you do is you take this height and then you add it. Well, let me zoom into this here. I'll zoom in. Zoom into this. the head is too small to, or the right shoulder is too small to actually be considered a inverse head and shoulders. So you take this length and then you add a little bit more to it. I'm just going to add a little bit more without taking the time to draw it. And then you take this and you slide it along and bam, you get the target for the next one. But since this continued up, what you do, well, let's try that again. Take, you know what, let's do this on a different one, I guess. Let's do that here. Same thing. 3 perfectly enclosed spaces. Doodle-doodle-doo, doodle-doodle-doo. This is the retest. And this one is definitely lower than 386. So we'll take this and then we'll add it to the bottom. And guess what we got? We got our target. Is that magical or what? See how magical that is? I mean, TA is really, really simple if you're just good at finding patterns. Again, I took this height, I took this particular length, and I'm just doing this by eyeball, and it needs to be parallel in the channel like this, and then you draw it and you slide it along, and bam, it's right about there. Pretty darn close. Not bad, huh? Did I do that wrong? Let me see, right, yeah, I drew it too long. You're right about there. And then you slide it along this length, and yeah, now it's closer. So that's how that's done. You do that with everything here, literally everything. You want to try that here? I guess we could try that here. I mean, look at that. I guess you could try that here. Try this angle, and then you take the smallest head back down to make that parallel, that right about here. So, and then you drag it up across, and it's literally right there. Here's the target right there. So we went a little higher than target. What if we do this? What if we do this though? What if instead of that we do this? What if we do this? And we made 3 targets there. Ha! Egads. Then you do the same thing. You get, you take this, go parallel to that, and then you drop it on the neckline, and then you go straight up, and voila, right back here for the target. So the target is going to get you 90% the way there, if not 100%. Literally, it's either precise or it's precise plus like 5-10% wrong. Same thing with all of these things. I mean, I could just draw lines all day long. I could literally draw lines all day long. You just draw lines. I'm going to draw the line here. And then say, hey, what about from here to here? Okay, let's see where that ends up. Da-da-da-da-da, doo-doo-doo-doo, ba-bam. Ooh, this is the target up here. What about, I don't know. What else? This is 12 hours. Let's go 8 hours. And I mean, I could do this for hours and hours and hours. They're all over the place. They're everywhere. What's going on? Anyway, they're just all over the place. Every single place you go, if you see, I guess I could show you this too. Here, look at this. Just sloppy TA, sloppy TA. 3 enclosed spaces. 1 enclosed space, 2 enclosed space, 3 enclosed space. If you want to take the smallest one, you go from here to here, and then it went up to here. Yeah, you see where the 2 candles meet right there. And then if you want to take the longer one, let's do this one and this one. Then you slide it all the way back down to this point. And sure enough, the price is this particular wick. And then if you want to take the longest one, take this one to this one, and then slide right back down. This goes to here. Price goes and points to this price. So it's pretty darn tootin' amazing, isn't it? Anyway, okay. While I'm at it, I guess I'll show you another one. Here, look. 3 perfectly enclosed spaces. You see that? 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. And again, the head's too small, so what are we going to do? We're just going to take this and add a little bit more to it, and that should take us down to our target of where we're going to stop. And sure enough, we stopped right here, plus a little bit farther. Isn't that cool? Take this, What I would have done here is I would have taken the smallest head and added about this much distance to it. So if you add this much more distance, then you should get exactly where the target is, which is right here. Bam, right here, this price. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I'm definitely going to delete this video. Okay, so now I guess I've proven that the stock market's going to go back up really soon. Bitcoin hit its target. It's going to go back up. I've shown you why the lizard people or the Rothschilds or Soros won't let stocks and Bitcoin go down any farther, because if they do, then everything gets literally destroyed. They're not only just going to take over, they're not just Vikings that are going to take over another country. They're Vikings that are just going to take over the other country and kill everybody, even the women, so that there's no one left to farm the land. In other words, Soros and the lizard people and the Rothschilds, they need people to dump on. If they get rid of all the middle class, who are they going to dump on? Nobody. No one's going to buy crypto. No one's going to buy stocks after this if it dumps anymore. If they don't have stocks, if no one buys stocks, like, what's the use of them buying stocks? They're not going to buy stocks and then go, oh, holy shit, we killed all the hot chicks. Now there's no one left to impregnate. I guess that war was kind of stupid. They've got to leave somebody to buy their bags. And if stocks and crypto dip any further, there's going to be nobody left to buy their bags. Bitcoin target hit, Soros, Viking's wife, TA for Bitcoin. Oh, and one of the key points on the fundamental side is that this week, Bitcoin futures short ETF is launching, 2 different ones this week. Now I guess I'll finally tell you about Truebit. Oh my God. You see why this has been like 50 minutes? You see why I've been trying to not do this video, and why I charge money for these videos? And you see how that helps when you click like in the beginning, you end up watching this far because you paid it forward. You feel like you need to get your money's worth for that like. You get your money's worth so far? How do you feel about that? Okay. Truebit. Oh my God. I'm going to tell you what Jason Teutsch and Christian Rietweisner have said. Christian hasn't said much in the past, and what they haven't said. I'm going to tell you what they literally said, what's in their white paper, what's in their recorded interviews and videos over the last, including the last one from BTS, the keynote. And then I'm going to tell you what they haven't said. So, Jason Teutsch is a PhD in mathematics and cryptography. Okay, that makes him perfectly capable of building the next Ethereum, but he didn't. Dr. Gavin Wood did, Charles Hoskinson did. They went off and built Cardano, Dot, Ada, Kusama. But Jason Teutsch didn't. Jason Teutsch went off and built something called Truebit, and he doesn't say much about it. Have you noticed that he doesn't do any marketing? In fact, most of the kids that have been fudding Truebit, their biggest point of concern is that there's no marketing for it. There's no, well, you know what? How much marketing does Satoshi do? It's the #1 biggest gain, 300,000% times, 3 million% gain from 10 years ago. And Satoshi did zero marketing, zero. Jason Teutsch is the same way. He's doing no marketing, but he is saying a couple things and not saying millions of things. And among the things that he is saying are, where do I start? He was asked about why is Truebit pegged to Ethereum? And his answer is really, really revealing. He was also asked, can Truebit be an enhancement to Bitcoin? And his answer was really, really revealing. He was asked about Truebit versus Arbitrum. His answer was really, really revealing. And yet he said nothing in all three of the answers. In the Arbitrum question, he kind of just looked like, why would you ask me about Arbitrum? It's like Arbitrum is just an Ethereum network speed enhancer. That's all it is. It's like the difference between the look in his eyes and what he said in the past is, this is what he meant. This is what he didn't say. Arbitrum is like adding magnesium wheels to your car so that your car goes faster. Truebit converts your car into a submarine and an Elon Musk rocket ship. Magnesium wheels, Arbitrum. Submarine and rocket ship, Truebit. One actually just makes Ethereum faster. Does exactly the same stuff Ethereum can do, it just makes it a little faster. The other adds computational ability to Ethereum. In other words, Ethereum does not have computational blah, 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 blah right now. It just doesn't. Ethereum can't compute shit. All Ethereum does is looks at a contract and says, yes or no, binary. Did it fulfill the contract details? Yes, good, pay. Did it not fulfill? No, then don't pay. That's all Ethereum does. Truebit, and this is the first, I kept telling you for the last year and a half that Truebit is an artificial intelligence platform. Jason Twitch, in his BTS keynote and questions after, in the Q&A, he never mentioned artificial intelligence, but you know what he did say? He did say, well, how are you going to do projections? And then he talked about Etherscan and how Etherscan can't see everything, and how Etherscan is has part of Etherscan's well, a lot of Etherscan's data is just wrong because it can't see the entire blockchain. How are you going to deal with that? He mentioned that, and then he said the keywords. You need a platform for machine learning. What does machine learning mean? I'll tell you what he didn't say. Machine learning is an artificial intelligence thing. Machine learning is an artificial intelligence thing. You don't just have machine learning on a Casio calculator. Hey, my Casio calculator can do machine learning. No. Machine learning is something that only happens for artificial intelligence platforms or systems. So he was implying that Truebit isn't, and this is the first time he's actually implied or mentioned anything about Truebit's full, true compatibility or capability. What does computation mean? It means artificial intelligence. And he gave that away by using the terms machine learning about 8 times. I think I counted 8 times during the BTS keynote where he used the term machine learning. Maybe it was less than that. I should look at my notes. Anyway, so that's super insanely, massively long-term bullish. But that still leaves the question of what if Truebit can only work on Ethereum, and then maybe it gets bolted onto Solana if Solana gets big enough, or Neo, LOL, if Neo does whatever, or Cardano or Polkadot or anything, it just gets bolted. But Truebit's always going to be a second string hitter, or a second fiddle, or a second wife, or just so you know, second wives get more action. But he was asked, well, can Truebit be compatible with Bitcoin? And he kind of just looked at that and says, why stop at Bitcoin? Why stop at blockchain? What he didn't say is how machine learning is being used today, how artificial intelligence is being used today. And that's why I keep mentioning Palantir. Do you know what artificial intelligence is being used for right now? Whenever a new technology, what was the first application of the cell phone? What was the first usage when Qualcomm first came up with a cellular chip? How was it used first? Was it used first in dating? Was it used first in e-commerce so that you could buy groceries from the store? It was used first in military applications. What about the automobile? Military. What about the gun? Military. What about computer? Military. What about TV? Military. What about helicopter? Military. Everything gets used in the military first. No matter what it is, if it's new, it gets used in the military first. Artificial intelligence is no different. Palantir's major usages, well, if we drop a bomb in the middle of Paris, how many of those people will die? How many of them will stay in France? How many of them will migrate to other countries? What countries will they migrate to? What skills will they have? What percentage will be doctors? What percentage will be scientists, engineers, thieves, robbers, murderers? And then they do all these extrapolations, and then France says, hey, if a nuclear bomb or a bomb is dropped into France, then most people will move to Luxembourg. Okay, so that's the case. Then the French government says, okay, we need to start investing in Luxembourg so that we don't lose all our money. We can hedge with Luxembourg businesses, buildings, land, technology. We can start doing Luxembourg cottage industry organizations and venture fund. That's what they do. What about roads? What's the fastest road to this, to that, to? Why would you want to know the fastest way from here to there? Based on these conditions, so that you can send your tanks. That's why. So that's what Palantir does. But here's the problem with Palantir. You know whose clients Palantir has? Palantir's clients, they've actually mentioned them, are countries that are becoming rapidly, questionably NATO. Questionably against NATO. And you know what happens when a country like the Ukraine goes and wants to join NATO, right? Russia does not take kindly to that. So America, in the same way, if Palantir starts getting paid billions of dollars to do work for some of these countries in the Middle East, which they're starting to, what do you think America is going to do? What do you think America is going to say to Palantir? With all the social media censorship that's going on right now, you don't think there's going to be a congressional hearing that says, Peter Thiel, no, we don't want you to work with that country. In fact, that data that you produce for that country, ixnay it, trash it, throw it away. We're going to ban that. That's what's going to happen. Artificial intelligence is going to be under the regulatory and the military oversight of nations, mainly America. Now, bring that back to Jason Teutsch, and he says, why stop at Bitcoin? Why stop this uncensorable, ungovernable, distributed, unstoppable artificial intelligence network? Why stop at Bitcoin? And then in the end, he said, if you want to talk about bridging like Doge Ethereum, ever wonder why he would want to bridge Doge to Ethereum to Truebit? And doesn't that sound weird? Like, why would you bridge Ethereum to Doge? Because Doge is I guess I'll go into this a little bit. Doge is a clone of Bitcoin. Doge is not a clone of Ethereum. I don't know if you know that or not. You know how all these tokens that are coming out on the Ethereum network that you can buy in Uniswap, they're all Ethereum tokens. Doge is not. Doge was a carbon copy. It's a fork of Bitcoin. What the early what's that guy that's super bitter all the time because he sold all his Doge, and then it went up 1000x. The creator of Doge. All he did was he forked Bitcoin because he was a smart programmer, but an idiot in human terms. So if you can bridge between Ethereum and a totally non-compliant network like Bitcoin or Doge and Bitcoin are the same, remember that, same type of code. And then Jason Teutsch says, and if you're working on a project that needs computation on the blockchain that's distributed, uncensorable, ungovernable, unstoppable, then contact me. You know who's going to contact him? Peter Thiel. He's going to contact him and say, hey, we've got contracts from Iran going through our shell companies in the Seychelles Islands or the Cayman Islands. But the data is going to go right back to Iran. We don't want that data in our Amazon servers or or Google servers or Palantir or USA servers. You want to handle this part of the computation for us? Bam. It's endless. What I'm saying is that this is truly Skynet. And if you're not buying Skynet right now, yeah, Google is building artificial intelligence, but it's not Skynet because the US government can just say, Google, nah, kill it. Palantir is better suited to kill Google's AI. Tesla is working on AI. All these companies are working on AI, but there's only 2 or 3 companies that are really, really good at AI. The main one, better than Google, is Palantir. You should see who Peter Thiel, who's the main investor of Palantir, hired away from Google. Look that up. Google PhDs in artificial intelligence who were hired by Palantir or Google migration. Just Google it. Google it. And you'll see all the talent going to Palantir. They have the smartest, but they're still under the thumb of Big Brother, of the USA. And the only way around that thumb is blockchain. And the only artificial intelligence platform that's ever been built, the only one in existence today, is Truebit. Oh my God, I'm gonna need it. Like a throat lozenge or something. Oh! And finally, I guess I gotta touch on this. The last thing says, yeah, but Truebit price is still pegged to Ethereum. And then Jason Twitch was asked, Jason Twitch said, well, people have asked me if I'm just going to peg the price of Truebit to Ethereum, why don't I just peg the price of Truebit to the US dollar? He laughed. Literally, he laughed after saying that. Then he said this, well, look at it this way. If I don't peg the price, then because we have a user, a questioner, an asker, and then we have a calculator, and then we have a verifier. What would happen is that a bunch of spammers would say, hey, I'm gonna build a calculator, and I'm gonna be my own verifier, and I'm gonna ask my own question. And by the time I ask the question, I'm gonna pump the price of Truebit, and then I'm gonna wait until the price is higher, and then I'm finally gonna verify it. So what could happen is that a bunch of spam transmissions are gonna go straight through the Truebit network, making the spammers rich because the Truebit price is so volatile. It's gonna go up and down. So they're gonna be able to manipulate that and make profit on spammy computations that don't, like what's 1 plus 1 is, they're gonna ask that, and then they're gonna make 200% profit when they verify that 1 plus 1 does equal 2 indeed. Is what Jason Twitch said. So everyone's like, oh no, does that mean that Truebit price then won't go up any higher? This is the part that's important that he didn't say. He also mentioned why he doesn't peg it to the US dollar. He says, well, Truebit price will, for that time, this is what he said, for that time, be pegged to the value of Ethereum. But it's not pegged to the price of the US dollar. Does that send chills down your spine? Are you starting to, if you have 130 IQ, if you have 140 IQ, you're starting to get chills. And then the fact that he said, what if spammers pump the price of True and then make profit on True on spam computations that are being verified during one CPU? During one CPU. That's the key. That's the key that everyone needed. Now, what else you don't realize about Jason Twitch is that he has a Does he have a PhD in game theory? Or anyway, he has a PhD in mathematics, and he is a game theory expert. I don't know if he got a master. Can you get a master's in game theory? I don't know. But anyway, in his resume, he says game theory expert. Why is it important that you can get pegged to Ethereum, but not to the US dollar, during one CPU? A CPU is a CPU cycle or a computational cycle. So you ask a question, the computer computes it, and then the verifiers verify it. That's one 3-part cycle. Once that's done, you no longer have to stay pegged. All he wants to do is prevent someone from bidding on a $1 calculation and then the verifier making $2. All he wants to do is make sure, this is the only thing he wants to do as far as the pegging goes, is make sure that when someone bids $3 for a question to be solved, how many people is the plastic lining in your Starbucks hot to-go cup going to kill in the next 10 years? Here's the question, and that's worth $30. Well, the verifier says, hey, it's a $30 question, I'm going to make $60. That's the only thing he's preventing. He wants that $30 question to make the verifier $30. Period. That's it. Otherwise, the same person's going to ask the question as the person that's actually doing the verifying, and they're going to make money on their own spam transmissions. So the peg only has to last as long as one computational cycle is in progress. Think about what that means. Truebit price right now is 20 cents or so. I think it's 20 cents. It's 20 cents. And right now I'm saying, hey, for this question, I'm gonna give you the answer to this question for 20 cents right now. Okay, bam, deal. I put 20 cents worth of Truebit on the line. This thing starts figuring it out. Suddenly, there's 1 million people that want the same answer or different answers that are all worth 20 cents. A million people, million companies come and ask Truebit, the computational layer, for millions of questions. But right now, the current price that I started at was at 20. What Jason Toit says is, until this question gets computed and then verified, and one complete CPU cycle is done, this person is not going to pay this person any more money. This is going to be a 20% question. It's going to cost 20 cents, and they're going to make 20 cents. Bam. Now it's done. But so have 1 million other people who ask the same question at the 20% or the 20 cent Truebit price mark. Guess what? The 1,000,001st question that's asked, all those CPU cycles are done. Minting stops. Minting stops until the next huge breadth. What is the breadth right now? The breadth is something like the mint price for Truebit. What is it, like 8 cents or something? 6 cents? I don't remember right now. I have to look at my notes again. But I think burn price was at 6 cents. Mint price is at about 70 cents. So is that 12x, 10x? 10x or 12x? What he's saying is, if you start a cycle, if you start a computer question, then he's going to freeze the price of Truebit when it gets up to about 10x. And it's going to stay locked at 10x until all the CPU cycles are closed. Then you're allowed to have your next 10x. Holy shit. Yes. Truebit's going to go up 10x at a time, like steps on the ladder. 10x, 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 10x. Which, by the way, you know what the Ethereum price for Truebit is right now? It's 0.0042. But that's, what is that, the 10,000s? If we go down to the 100,000s, it's 0.00420. This is all a big joke to him. This is all a big joke to him to say, F you, SEC. What he's saying is, the SEC is going to come down and say, hey, the price of Truebit moves. It's a security. And Jason Twitch is going to say, no, you already said Ethereum isn't a security, and I'm pegged to the price of Ethereum. That's what he's going to say. Well, then the government's going to say, well, why didn't you peg it to the price of the US dollar then if it's not a security? This is not fair that you're making your Truebit holders so much money, is what the government's going to say. He's just going to say, well, whether I peg it to Ethereum or whether I peg it to the US dollar, I mean, hell, the US dollar goes up from being worth 94 cents up to $1.10, $1.20, $1.30. So whether I peg it to this or that, everything moves anyway. It doesn't really matter. And I'm not building on the US dollar platform, am I? I'm building on the Ethereum platform, so I'm just pegging to something that you already said isn't a security. So what Jason Twitch has done is he's created a 10,000x artificial intelligence Skynet that's unstoppable. And he's saying, fuck you to all the spammers. He's saying, fuck you to the SEC. And he's saying, hey, 420. It's just hilarious. Anyway, the last thing I was going to show you, I guess, an hour, 16 minutes. My God, it takes a long time to communicate all this. Is when these things actually start pumping. Truebit's going to start pumping now. Watch, I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to try and put this at an angle so that there's no moire. Can you see this okay? Okay, look. Everyone was freaking out when Bitcoin was here and here, okay? This is when everyone was freaking out. Everyone's freaking out on Bitcoin right now. This right here, are you seeing where these things are moving on these other screens? Right here and right here. Solana. When everyone was freaking out, I'll show you how much Solana was. Solana price was, let's see, call out price level here. Right here. This is when everyone was freaking out on Bitcoin. Kusama, this is when everyone was freaking out on Bitcoin right here. SHIB. Where was SHIB? Right about here. Everyone was freaking out about Bitcoin. Right here. This is the SHIB price. Right here. Oops. Here. Right there. Okay. Are you starting to kick yourself now? Are you starting to see, oh wait, you're telling me that I need to buy altcoins? No. Kinda, yeah. I'm telling you, you need to buy life-changing altcoins whenever Bitcoin makes everyone freak out. You want to know how much money these guys made from bottom to top if you started buying what I told you to buy? Here it is. Whenever, instead of freaking out like everybody else, this thing made, wow, 45,000%. Is that right? Anyway, it's 450x. 450x. Kusama to the top, 408x. 400 times. 400x. Not bad. Is that right though? I mean, yeah, it looks like, yeah, it is right. Jeez, fuck. Look at this. SHIB to the top. I don't know if this is right. Anyway, looks like here. This isn't right, is it? Because well, let's just look at the price here. SHIB from bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that only a 10x? That's weird. Maybe this is FTX. Anyway, I should look at another. Maybe I should do the Binance version. USDT. Tether US. It looks about the same. Anyway, we all know that SHIB made a whole bunch of money. I'm just not finding the best place. 1,000%. That's only 10x. That can't be right. Anyway, forget SHIB. This is fucked up. Anyway, 400 times your money, 400 times your money. Truebit is right now still going up. And I told everyone to buy again at 13, 14 cents. And it's already at 17 cents. So, how I play things, if I don't have enough money to buy more, I will sell shit that I need. I will sell my cameras, I will sell my bikes, my cars. I sold my favorite car, and I'm willing to sell property, other cars, and everything that I need to buy the bottom. Then, when it pumps 50% or 30%, just sell some of it and buy back the things that you actually need for your day-to-day life. Don't just sit there and say, well, this is a necessity, I can't sell it. Yeah, you can. You can take the bus for 3 days. You can take, because in 3 days the price will double. You can just sell half and buy back your stinking car. Actually, that's just how I live. You don't have to live that way, but if you don't live that way, you're just going to keep living the way you are now. You want that, or you want to get rich? 420. It's a big joke. That minting price is a big joke. Get rich. And after you buy Truebit, enforce your wealth. Share this on Twitter, share this on Facebook, share this in, at least share the link to this video on TikTok, and especially on Reddit. That way more people will buy what you bought, and you'd end up enforcing your wealth. Now, if you have over, let's lower it. If you have over 3 Bitcoin, we'll trade it for you. If you have a bunch of Truebit and it ends up on Binance, we can only remote control trade on Binance and Huobi. So, and Truebit is not on Binance yet. So, if you have all your money in Truebit, keep it there. Wait until it gets listed in Binance. That's when we'll start buying and selling for you and making you money 24 hours a day. Until then, just hold it in your MetaMask wallet. And don't fall for people impersonating us. There's a bunch of fakers saying that they're me. They're not me. I'll never DM you. Now, get rich.